Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about once more Torchlight Energy. Now I did talk about this ticker and this company before, so you can find my previous video in the description below. Nonetheless, today I'm going to be giving you a snippet of due diligence, technical analysis, news, what I think about this one, and illustrating tech and institutional buyers, etc. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into this one. Now, TRCH. The latest news, last time I did this video was I think on the 22nd or the 21st, and today we ended up receiving an extra piece of news. Torchlight announces the payment of special series, a preferred stock dividend, a 1-to-2 reverse stock split, and a planned closing of the arrangement agreement with Metamaterials Incorporations. Now, over here, an oil and gas exploration company today announced that it paid the special Series A preferred stock dividend on a 1-for-1 basis to its stockholders of record on June 24, 2021. The Torchlight also announces that it implemented a 1-for-2 reverse split of its common stock. The reverse split, which will become effective after market closing on June 25th, 2021, which basically means starting off Monday, you would also have that reverse split ready taken effect, and it was approved by stockholders a while ago on June 11th. The 1-for-2 ratio represents the lowest amount Torchlight may interpret it under the 1-to-20 range that was previously approved by the stockholder. The Torchlight announced also that the next steps necessary to close the business combination of materials were actually completed today, and they expect the business combination to be effective as of June 28th, 2021, as of midnight. So that means coming in Monday, the new ticker will be MMAT, and it will be known as Metamaterials Incorporation. Now, today's 25th, Saturday 26th, 7th, 28th would be Monday. So starting off Monday trading, you should be expecting that the stock will be traded as MMAT and no longer TRCH. Prior to the implementation of the reverse stock split, it was expected that Metamaterials Incorporations would receive 3,690 shares of Torchlight common stock in exchange for each of their share of Metamaterials. This exchange ratio was planned to result in Metamaterials Incorporation owning 75% of the resulting post-merger company. Metamaterial Incorporation subject to financing prior to closing of the business, yada yada. After reverse split, the exchange ratio was divided by 2 to 1.845 shares of Torchlight for each Metamaterials share to reflect the reverse split impact on the total outstanding shares of Torchlight. The last institutional to buy from this one was Schwab Total Stock Market Index Fund at almost 49,000 shares. Now, if we move a little bit forward, we start seeing that the short interest is still close around 30%. Now, a lot of this doesn't make sense, and I guess from their part of view is they're saying, hey, well, how much is that dividend anyway? So they might actually be forced to pay that dividend out of their own pockets. So I did cover that in my last video. Now, the next thing, if you want to move forward and see more of my contents like this, make sure to subscribe on the bottom right corner, turn on the notification button, and don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to join our Discord and discuss this more, it's totally free in the description below. Now, a bit forward onto this, there's a lot of news on Twitter onto this one. And this account here, TRCH and Meta, apparently really covers this one multiple times a day. Now, there's no shame in that. They're actually, I think they really like the stock, and but I'm not also endorsing anyone. I'm just sharing what I see in terms of them highlighting some of the news. So the last one, literally 4 minutes ago, they said that Torchlight announced that the steps necessarily closed, blah, blah, blah. There's going to be a new ticker, MMAT, by June 28th, which I just said earlier before even they announced that on Twitter. Now, Torchlight Catalyst and short squeeze, apparently they're talking about a short squeeze. I really don't think there's going to be a short squeeze here, but here is what this person is saying relating towards that short squeeze. So the merger between Metamaterials is expected to take place before the 30th. Well, now we know it's the 28th actually. According to Webull and other brokers, shorts are forced to cover on the 30th or prior. Now that's again 28th. The Torchlight Energy was recently #1 for a short squeeze on Fintel with short volume ratio of 34%. I'm not sure exactly how to fact check that. The company also got added to the Russell 3000 on June 25th. Yep, a lot of companies were added onto the Russell 3000, relating towards the reconstruction of the Russell Index. They do that multiple times over, whether it's IPO or reconstruction in the year. And as of now, no institutional investors sold, including Vanguard's 5 million shares. Now, we're not actually sure of that because there is a delay in terms of reporting this stuff, but assuming yes, with that delay, no one has sold yet. Now, another thing as well that we need to be careful of is if they have actually sold into the top around 11 bucks, it takes a few days for us to get to know that. Some people can actually sell and then report it later. There's the laws differ from country to country onto that, but since we're doing it with NASDAQ, I believe it is something like a 5-day delay or something. But also, it depends on what institutions and what entity you're actually buying in with. Nonetheless, of course, we know some people sold. Now, another thing I do want to share with you here is this analyst trading. So you get to see, this is actually on my platform on Questrade. What you get to see here is that the blogger opinion is bullish. The sentiment is 100% bullish, while the average is 69%. Now, in terms of the technicals, you get to see massive momentum, and the SMA relating technicals is showing really positive push. Now, the fundamentals, return on equity is -32. Meanwhile, the asset growth was 63%. The current score that they're giving is around neutral. Now, take that with a grain of salt because they are moving a lot of their business forward for at least the fundamentals. Technicals, sure. But right now, we need to focus a bit onto metamaterials. Now, if you haven't heard about metamaterials, I did a video on it a bit ago, so you might have to look back. But however, let me give you a minute kind of recap on metamaterials. Now, metamaterials works with sustainable and highly functional materials. Now, on the spectrum, you have, for instance, light field, concept of invisibility, and the production scale for the next 21st century kind of massive breakthrough is metamaterials. So what are metamaterials? Metamaterials control on-demand unique functional properties in absorption, emission, sensing, transmission, and guiding of light, sound, energy, and heat, as well as friction, strength, and electric energy. Metamaterials are typically created by patterning compost and nanomaterials. Until recently, development has taken place only at laboratory scale or on a very small substrates. Now, the metamaterial advantage or the meta advantage is speed, scale, and cost. It's cheaper, faster, and easier to scale for roll-to-roll production. Now, there's a lot of market opportunities driven by mega trends, whether it's 5G infrastructure, vehicle electrification, combined general more than $3 trillion in other verticals, including advanced materials, Internet of Things, medical, energy, aerospace, and automotive market. Scarcity, control of raw materials, the supply of rare earth materials such as ITO are highly concentrated in Asia, and metamaterial device market is expected to grow 10.7 B SAM by 2030. So now you know a bit more about metamaterials. Now you know what the future holds. I have one small thing just to say about metamaterials. Now, if you were to take a look into their history, so let's take a look into the company itself, which is currently trading into the Canadian market under MMAT. It's not fair for me to just show you all the bullish stuff. Currently, it is around 17.12. Today, it jumped almost double. Usually, TRCH and metamaterials kind of hold one-on-one with that sense, but I'm guessing to 2-to-1 reverse split, that kind of pushed metamaterials a little bit forward. But do expect that that gap in price will adjust based on the relation as well with metamaterials and TRCH. That ratio will adjust. But take a look back into December. So if we were to look into the 4th of December, this company jumped 3,542%. So in that sense, what I'm trying to say is that it was a penny stock. It wasn't a $50 company. But don't judge it on the history. Try to judge it a bit on the future while being cautiously optimistic, because that's how we move forward as intelligent investors and traders. So just keep that in mind. And I still remain bullish onto metamaterials because I like what they're doing. But again, the fundamentals have changed a lot from the history. So let's move on now towards technical analysis. Now, from the technical analysis perspective, just keep in mind some of this is gonna look a lot bearish than it actually is because of the recent drop. But the good news here is that there's something called a trading action zone where most positive reversals occur. And that's between the green line, the 10 SMA, and the red line, the 30 EMA. And the price point is currently between the two, which is 578 to 411. That's where most positive reversals occur. Currently on the moving averages, it's bullish on every count. 10 SMA is above 30 EMA, 50 SMA is above the 200 SMA, so definitely bullish in that sense. In terms of the ADX, it shows you that there was actually, it hit above 50. That's where most reversals usually occur. And currently you're almost into that reversal, and accumulation is the best we can wish for the next day or so. And we've seen in the last 3 days, we had somewhat of an accumulation, and that's a good thing because we can have something happening very similar to what's happening here. More of an accumulation and then jumps. Now, in terms of the MACD, that's apparently testing the negative side. Hopefully it just bounces right back. That million %R shows it's highly oversold, which means technically in terms of a momentum would mean more buyers and increasing the stock price upwards. Momentum as well is still bullish. And in terms of stochastic fast and stochastic slow, it's suggesting that this might actually be a good time to buy, although it's a very risky trade. In terms of the moving averages, you can expect that this one follows the 478 line as it goes upwards, so that's a bullish thing nonetheless. And in terms of the Fibonacci retracements, we're able to get a view a little bit into where the algorithms will start putting their orders. So in terms of resistances, you're looking into 555, 680, 860, and 1088. In terms of supports, it's 429 and 273. Now, if we were to go back just on an hourly scale and try to find these resistances, you're starting to see that there is a very strong resistance at the 489. Above there, you're looking into 514 and then 531 and then up to 569 and then 608, going a little bit further to 680, and from 680 we're jumping up to 768. It goes to 828 and then 850. And then a little bit further to 907, going to 973, 1044, 1072, and then upwards to 1143. The current support level, you're looking into around 478. That seems to be a very strong support. Below there, you're looking into 449. Below there, we start dropping just a tad to 393 and around 344, and then we start going to 298, 273, and then down to 253, 226. Comes to the question. Ed, what do you think is going to happen? Now, I really think that this one might actually get another push onto Monday. And I did say that, or I think I said it around this area here, that you're going to see a drop sometime soon, or I thought it was 25th, but it actually started dropping way earlier around the 22nd. Now it's actually accumulating, which is a good thing. And taking a look into the Canadian company MetaMaterials on the stock market, on the Canadian market, it jumped 87% today, which gives me a bit of the idea that, hey, it's a lot, people are a lot more bullish on metamaterials than TRCH. And that changes almost everything, because then metamaterials can really explode in value and keep exploding in the American market, which is even more volatile than the Canadian market. So I'm actually thinking this one might actually start seeing a bit more bullish action. It might jump back up after this accumulation. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention it down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you made it this far into the video, I do recommend that you go ahead and join our Discord server. There's a lot of amazing folks in here. We do a lot of discussions here into the trading floor throughout the day. A lot of people are in there, and we do ask questions. You can ask me any question you would like on there. We do post research and DDs, and we hold weekly chat sessions. And we also do have a lounge in there. So make sure to actually join that and join the fun there. Have a wonderful day and a good one.